For centuries, the kingdoms of Scotland and England shared a turbulent border. But in the late 13th century, a crisis of succession plunged an entire nation into a void. What followed was not just a war, but a brutal struggle for survival, a 32-year ordeal of betrayal, heroism, and stunning reversals that would forge a Scottish national identity from the ashes of conquest. So this is the story of the First War of Scottish Independence. In 1286, Scotland was a stable, independent kingdom ruled by Alexander III. His reign was considered a golden age. But on a dark, stormy night near Kinghorn, Alexander fell from his horse and died. His only direct heir, his 3-year-old granddaughter Margaret, the Maid of Norway. In 1290, Scotland and England signed the Treaty of Berwick to secure the Scottish succession, arranging the marriage of the young Queen Margaret, Maid of Norway, to England's future Edward II, while preserving Scotland's independence. However, the treaty collapsed when Margaret died en route to Scotland, plunging the kingdom into crisis and leading to Edward I's intervention in the so-called Great Cause. Into the vacuum stepped England's warrior king Edward I, who became the Hammer of the Scots. Invited as an arbitrator, he saw an opportunity. He demanded recognition as the Lord Paramount of Scotland. The Scots, desperate for order, reluctantly agreed. In 1292, a group of selected noblemen headed by King Edward I of England chose John Balliol as the new king of Scotland. John Balliol was a man perceived as weak, a puppet king. King Edward humiliated him, overriding Scottish law and summoning him like a vassal. Pushed too far, Balliol and the Scottish nobles rebelled, forging the Auld Alliance with France. Edward's response was apocalyptic. In 1296, he stormed the thriving port of Berwick, slaughtering thousands. At the Battle of Dunbar, Scottish chivalry was shattered. Balliol was captured and stripped of his arms in a ritual humiliation. Scotland became occupied. With the nobility broken or compliant, resistance sprang from the grassroots. A minor knight called William Wallace turned outlaw. His fiery defiance and guerrilla tactics made him a legend. His victory at Stirling Bridge in 1297 was a masterclass in using terrain and schiltrons, which were compact, circular, or rectangular military formations of Scottish soldiers against heavy cavalry. For a moment, Scotland was free, and Wallace was its guardian. However, the devastating Scottish defeat at Falkirk in 1298 had enabled Edward's longbows to break the schiltrons. Eventually, William Wallace was betrayed by Scottish nobility and executed brutally in 1305. From the ashes of Wallace's movement rose a more calculating figure, Robert the Bruce. Grandson of a competitor, he was a complex mix of ambition and patriotism. In 1306, after a fatal quarrel with his rival John Comyn, Bruce seized the throne. It was a disastrous start. Defeated at Methven, his family captured and executed, he became a fugitive. Then came the myth of the spider, symbolizing Bruce's persistence and guerrilla years, taking back his kingdom castle by castle. By 1314, Bruce had reclaimed most of Scotland. Edward II marched north with a colossal army to relieve Stirling Castle. What followed was Bruce's masterpiece. At Bannockburn, he chose the perfect ground, boggy land flanked by woods. He negated the English cavalry and archers. In 2 days of fighting, the outnumbered Scots annihilated the English army. Thus, Scotland's independence was won on the battlefield. To break the stalemate and open a second front, Bruce took the war to England's backyard. He sent his brother Edward to Ireland, aiming to create a pan-Gaelic alliance. While initially successful, the campaign ultimately faltered and was a bold, costly gambit. With the military victory secure, Bruce needed diplomatic recognition. The Scots sent a letter to the Pope in 1320. This was known as the Declaration of Arbroath. It was not just a plea, but it was a revolutionary statement of popular sovereignty. For as long as but 100 of us remain alive, never will we on any conditions be brought under English rule. It was the soul of a nation put to parchment. Finally, in 1328, with a new boy king on the English throne, the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton was signed. England recognized Robert the Bruce as King of Scots and acknowledged Scotland's complete independence. It was a total victory, but a fragile one. Bruce died a year later, and his work was complete. However, the peace lasted 5 years before the Second War broke out, a conflict that would solidify what the First War had won. The First War of Scottish independence was more than a series of battles. It was a nation's painful, brutal adolescence. It transformed Scotland from a patchwork of feudal loyalties into a kingdom with a fierce sense of self. The legacy of William Wallace's defiance and Bruce's cunning kingship became the bedrock of Scottish identity. It proved that a people, united and determined, could stare down an empire. Their struggle echoed through the centuries, a testament to the enduring idea of freedom. What period of history should we explore next? Let us know in the comments below. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. For further information, see the Declaration of Arbroath, Barber's The Bruce, and Fordun's Chronicle. See also G.W.S. Barrow's Robert Bruce, Michael Brown's The Wars of Scotland, and Fiona Watson's Under the Hammer. I will talk to you after the Christmas holiday. Thank you.